Today I will finally become the prince woman. How shocked he will be when he finds out I'm Tiaroba, a virgin.
Woman, who allowed you in my chambers?
My prince, I offer you myself this night.
What if I say I'm not interested?
My prince, I don't believe you love that prostitute. You're just using her like every other man.
I forbid you to call her that, but if this is what you want, this you shall have.
Yes, my prince.
My prince, you were my first man. What are we now?
Go home before your father raises an alarm.
Amara, what are you doing in the palace early this morning?
You will find out soon. Watch and see. Pretenders are worse than criminals. That's your business. Babe, I need like 2 million naira. My vendor brought new hairs I want to buy.
That's quite a lot for hair. I will send it anyway.
Thank you, my love. You're so sweet.
But you're sweeter, my queen. Where did you sleep last night? When did you start sleeping outside?
I slept at Omar's house, Pawe.
Let it better be true.
Papa, I slept at Omar's house. I'm not lying.
Every time Amara sneaked out to the palace, she moved like someone on a mission. Once she sighted the king, she would kneel immediately, not because anyone asked her to, but because she wanted it noticed. "My king," she would greet softly, bowing low. Sometimes the king would nod. Sometimes he wouldn't even look up. Amara didn't mind, as long as she was seen. If she noticed palace staff sweeping, she would rush to collect the broom. If food trays were being arranged, she would volunteer to help. If water was being fetched, she would offer her hands. Things already handled, things nobody asked her to do. She made sure she was always doing something. Neither the king nor the prince stopped her. They didn't encourage her either. They simply let her be. And Amara took that silence as permission. In her mind, the plan was clear. Let them see I am different. Let them see I am humble. Let them see I am hardworking. She believed if she could outdo palace staff, then surely she had outdone other girls. Whenever she saw Cassandra pass through confidently without lifting a finger, Amara would tighten her jaw. That one thing's beauty is enough, she would think. But palace life is not by shape alone. So, Amara doubled down. More bowing, more kneeling, more offering herself for work nobody needed. What she didn't realize was that the palace was watching her, not with admiration, but with quiet assessment. And in that place, trying too hard was also a message. Anytime Amara saw the prince with Cassandra, her chest would tighten. They wouldn't even be doing anything serious, just standing close, talking low, laughing softly, but it was enough. The way the prince's face softened around Cassandra was what hurt the most. He listened to her differently. He smiled without forcing it. Amara noticed everything. Sometimes she would stand at a distance, pretending to be busy, watching them from the corner of her eye. And every time, jealousy would creep in quietly, the kind that doesn't shout, but sits heavy in the chest. She would ask herself questions she didn't have answers to. Is he also like this with her? Or is it only me he talks to with seriousness? Because when the prince spoke to Amara, his tone was always firm. Calm, but firm. He didn't joke much. He didn't linger. He didn't relax. With Cassandra, he seemed easy. That difference bothered her. Sometimes, when she was alone, Amara would wonder if the prince was just as strict with Cassandra behind closed doors, if he corrected her the way he corrected Amara, if he looked at her with that same measured expression, or if Cassandra got a version of him she never would. The thought annoyed her. Why should Cassandra get softness, she would think, when I'm the one doing everything right? That jealousy made Amara try harder. More humility, more service, more effort. But the more she watched, the more she realized something painful. Cassandra didn't have to try at all. When the prince finally asked Cassandra to marry him, he expected joy. He didn't get it. Cassandra looked at him quietly and said, "You are still with Amara." He didn't deny it. She had always known. She had just chosen not to ask. "I can't marry a man who is sharing his life," Cassandra continued. "Even if I pretend not to notice, it will still be there." The prince tried to explain. He told her it didn't mean anything. He told her it was complicated. Cassandra shook her head. She refused him. Before she left, the prince sent her money, plenty of it. Cassandra accepted it without argument. Then she returned to Lagos quietly, without announcements, without tears. The prince was surprised. He truly liked Cassandra. He liked her boldness, the way she spoke freely, the way she didn't try to shrink herself to fit village expectations. He didn't mind that she wasn't ladylike by local standards. With her, he felt alive. Life, however, had already moved ahead. Amara became pregnant. After arguments, denial, and whispers, it became clear who the father was. Her father took the matter to the palace, and the king had no choice but to act. The prince was forced to marry Amara, but he made one condition. He would marry her and then return to the USA alone. Amara agreed immediately. To her, the title mattered more than the presence. The pregnancy felt like a blessing. She had won. The prince left. Years passed. 7 years later, the prince never returned. The child was well cared for. The king ensured nothing lacked. Money came regularly for the boy, school, clothes, comfort. But Amara received nothing. Slowly, the truth settled in. The prince didn't hate the child, but he did not love her. And that realization was harder than poverty. 2 years after leaving, the prince reconnected with Cassandra. He apologized properly this time. He brought her to the USA. They started again, carefully, honestly. Cassandra didn't rush. She had learned. As for Amara, she had what she wanted: a title, a son, a place in history. But sometimes, late at night, she wondered if winning was supposed to feel so lonely. And that was where the story ended. Not with good or bad, just choices and their consequences.